So whatever I discussed here is with respect to boosting scores. Yeah, on final detail, you can double your time. See, the only golden rule, I'll make it upfront, okay? Don't spend more than minutes any one particular question. This is the exam time management tip. So paper basics, this is 3 hours, right? This is 3 hours. We have 65 questions responding to 100 marks. 65, again, it helps to know the split. So we have the 1 mark, 55 marks. And what types of questions? Got CQ, SQ. We also have NA, right? And let's also put some ballpark numbers, okay? Cutoff is actually dependent on category. Cutoff score and all that, what kind of seat you get and all that depends on category. But in order for you to clear the examination, in fact, as far as the GATE PM is concerned, for most students, clearing the cutoff actually will start getting you opportunities, including some general category students. Okay, changes with category, but let's kind of put a number for cutoff. Okay, cutoff marks. Put this is approximate 22.5. Considering categories, if you're in general, this is going to be like 25 or something like that. Okay, be careful. That's one thing. We also need one more reference number, and that would be All India rank 1 as far as this paper is concerned. Roughly how much? Or single digit. Okay, single digit. All India rank 1. There are some outliers. Okay, typically if you're getting this many marks, you're likely getting a single digit rank. By that, your score is very high and your chances of getting a preferred seat at an old IIT is very, very high. And for the GATE biomedical exam, doesn't suffice to be within 100, 2-digit rank. Okay, it's better to get a single digit rank. Roughly how much should you score for this? What I have written here as marks. 2.5 marks, single digits. How much should you score? Any guesses? Yeah, in 2024, All India rank 1, score 54, got All India rank 1, right? Typically 45 plus, you are a single digit topper. Okay, so I'm going to put single digit, roughly approximately 50. If you are scoring 50 marks out of 100, actually coming first, the top 10 in All India level national examination, right? That is, typically 35 is pass mark. 35 out of 100 is pass mark in many colleges, right? So 50 out of 100 you are getting in the All India level rank top 10. In a sense, that is partly easy, but of course, students are, the paper is kind of hard. Students are still getting used to it. So this is approximately 50. Having said this, exam time management. See, the only golden rule, I'll make it upfront, okay? Don't spend more than minutes any one particular question. This is the exam time management tip. Minutes in the beginning of the exam, I spent 6 minutes at the end of, just before the end of examination, I spent total 8 minutes. Spend no more. Skip that question, move on to the next question. The next question also 8 minutes I spent, I couldn't answer. Skip, go to the next question. 8 minutes, 8 minutes. So how much is this? 180 by 8. How much is 180 by 8? I do have my calculator. 180 by 8. Have the confidence to skip 22 questions, okay? If we have to skip 22 questions, skip it. Not that stupid. We are not like totally unprepared. We are prepared well. By the time you skip 2-3 questions, you are going to hit a question that you can solve and do that. There is one golden rule. Don't spend more than 8 minutes in any one particular question. Your rough work is an indicator of that. Approximately 1 page of rough work. You don't have to even look at your watch or exam clock. When did it start? Did it start at 2:45 or did it start at 2:55? Have I spent 18 minutes or I have spent 8 minutes? You don't have to look at your clock. You don't have to look at your watch. Approximately 1 page of rough work, please, 8 minutes. If you're doing more than a page derivation, you should skip that question and run away from that rough work. Approximately. Again, while giving a mock test, you can actually see, hey, how much time this has passed. Now, let's also look at that examination timeline. Okay, so let me get it reasonably straight. This is the reasonable straight thing that I have. So this is what day? This is 15th. Exam starts here. Exam is here. Time is 30 p.m. You are supposed to have here is a sound checklist. Okay, make sure you have a sound checklist that you can start on time. Okay, let's have some ballparks, some markings. Ends at 5:30 p.m. It's 4:30 p.m. This is 3:30 p.m. I'm going to allocate 10 minutes here. I am going to allocate 15 minutes here, and it's roughly 10 minutes. What I suggest you do is skim air paper, air cube paper. I said 5 minutes. Think about even 10 minutes to skim entire question paper. No harm done. That's also the first pass. The second pass, roughly here, roughly this is 45 minutes, and this is also reality. You are going to do about 50% of easy questions. 50% of entire questions you are going to answer. 50% of that you are going to answer here. You are answering total 40 questions. 20 questions you would have answered by here. Out of that, 18, almost 18 or something like that is correct. Find easy questions. And you already skimmed it. So you have some idea on where easy questions are known, familiar, comfortable things are all. Some idea on that. Second pass. Notice skimming is the first pass. Second pass. Then the third pass. This is that long stretch, long mile. Sir, 1 hour I spent. No easy questions. No 50%. This is not 50%, 0%. This is where you should activate your fight response. Whatever poem, miles to go before your sleep, right? This is where you should activate your beast mode, if necessary. Okay. Next 2 hours, the fight that I'm going to give, right? And like, okay, if I'm going to plead, if my hand is going to cut, 100 opponents are going to lose their head or something like that, right? Whatever movie, pop culture reference motivates you, inspires you, get into that mode if it is necessary. Okay, you have 2 hours. So this stretch, this is, let's call it super mode. I want to give it, call this super mode. Activate super mode if necessary. Super mode is not when you are performing your best. Super mode is when you're giving your best to fight despite your performance, or despite your impression on your performance, just giving your best one. Activate your super mode if necessary. Okay, that 1.5 hours, either super mode or normal, whether you activated it or not, you got 1.5 hours. Right? This is where you're going to do about rest 50% of moderate questions. 50% of questions. So when I say 50% of questions that you're going to answer, notice all India rank 1 or single digit, roughly 50 marks. That is only, in 65, this is roughly 35 questions, right? 50 questions here is like, this is approximately, if you ask me, approximately 20 questions. If you ask me, this is approximately 15 questions. Because single digit, 35 questions, if you do it correctly, you can get that. You're not dealing with 65 questions. Remember, if you do 35 questions properly, if you can score around 50, it's a single digit rank. You can get whatever you want. Don't overcomplicate it. Nice thing we have in biomedical is we don't have to worry about answering all 65 questions. It's not whether you score 95 or 96. This is whether you score 35 or 45. Even that, whether you score 25 or 35, that's a question, right? Be aware of that. Expectations are actually relatively easy. The last. So roughly, all these are all approximate, okay? Don't take it by heart. Put a timer and then he said first 10 minutes do this, approximate. I think if I am right, still have about 30 minutes left. What should you do in this 30 minutes? I think you are supposed to do. Let's make it 45%. Okay. Yes, was 3:30. Go till 4. Okay. Schedule till 4. If necessary, you can go till 4:30. I have a couple of exercises planned. So let's go till 4:30. Yeah. At this stage, before you get out of the examination hall, used to say this at the beginning of the program. Now I am saying this the beginning of revision, appropriate time. Solve all MSQ NAT. Actually, not really solve all. Technically, this is answer all. Aren't any negative marks. whether you know it, whether it's your favorite subject or math subject, whether it's digital electronics, or this is biomechanics or mathematics, signals and systems, despite any of those details, answer all. No negative marking. Not answer something, right? For NATs, it is a question from digital electronics, I'm going to guess 0. If it is a question not from digital electronics, I'm going to guess 1. Not from digital electronics, yes, okay, enter 1. Is it from digital electronics? Question digital electronics, you can kind of recognize, okay, all of you can do that. Notice, the last 30 minutes, I am presuming you already couldn't answer those questions, right? So, that time, you enter 0 for digital electronics question, 1 for every other subject, including mathematics, enter 1. You could also do some, there are some rules of thumb. There are some unit, there are some smart units, dimensions, rules of thumb work. All of that actually will go in this 40% of this 1.5 hours, the super mode. It's like this is the last mile, last breath. Okay, so just blindly enter, and in fact it gets more appropriate as this window gets shorter. 5 minutes, you just have to time to enter the questions, just enter it. And perhaps rest 5% of queues. This what is the likely timeline schedule that works very well, or what the likely timeline looks like. Priority of questions you should attempt, negative marking, those things addressed. Negative, I'll come to that MCQ, MSQ, NAT thing, in detail, but are these things addressed? So one thing, don't spend more than 8 minutes in any one particular question. Approximately 1 page of rough work. That is the one real takeaway point. Roughly ask me, okay, how does the 3-hour window look like? This is how it's going to look like. And then whether you discuss your answers with your friend and all, that is immaterial. Okay, that is going to affect that that night's sleep, not the once you're out of the examination hall, whatever you do is not going to affect the marks, right? So you can have fun here, preferably, and there isn't anything you could do before the marks show up, right, to change those marks. So I might as well just have fun there. So roughly the suggested timeline, and I'm trying to add some detail to your world so that it gets less uncertain. Let's do one exercise before get to this last bit. CQ, negative marks. How to deal with negative marks. Let's do a small exercise and then we'll come back here. We have here let me share window. Okay, 2025. Let's go to the official website. Papers, mock test links. The interface you are using is very different from the gate interface. Okay, again, what really matters is your the interface is you should know how that work. Sort of like makeup. Okay, the real details, make or break details, or elsewhere. But you need to be aware of the interface. You really don't need practice with the interface. Okay, how can I say this? Because students know how the interface work, but they hadn't given all the mock tests in this interface, have done very well in the gate examination, have obtained single digit ranks. Okay, so your performance on the interface, mock test interface is not highly correlated. Just need to know how the interface looks and works. You should be familiar with it. So let's do that. As an interface visible? Oh, it became a new thing. Okay, add screen. Kindly contact the invigilator if there are any discrepancies in the name photograph displayed on the screen, or if the photograph is not yours. So there will be water and all that available. The basic exam checklist. The invigilator, all that humans. Okay, so you don't have to extra stress. You don't have something you can quickly check with the raise your hand, check with the invigilator. Just don't act spurious like a terrorist or something like that. They'll be happy to help you. Okay, read the following instructions carefully. So you're supposed to read it. Read it. Okay. There are options to mark the questions. 180 minutes. Yeah, you are supposed to read it. You can always go back to this and read it. You don't have to necessarily, and you roughly have about 20 minutes to read all of this. Okay, you're in the examination hall well before 2:30 p.m. Around 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. and all that, you're sitting in the examination hall and you're staring at this screen. Okay, you cannot go past the screen or something like that. That is where you are. So you can read all of this. Also, aware of all of this, at this stage the examination starts, you're like, I am ready to begin, please accept terms and condition. You're like, right now your brain is like freezing. I am ready to begin, please accept terms and condition, right? You're taking this a couple of times, right? So at this stage, in fact, anything like this happens, you can quickly check with the invigilator. Okay, no harm, sir. There seems to be an issue with the mouse. The mouse is not connected, right? The invigilator will address issues like this. Accept terms and, oh, I have to click this, right? Click this, I am ready to begin. And then this thing begins. John Smith, not John Wick. Let's look at this interface. Okay, this is GATE biomedical paper. Okay, there are sections. There is a general aptitude session. There is a core section, biomedical engineering question session, right? You can click it, go to the core section. Notice you can look at, you have 55 questions here. In general aptitude, you have 10 questions. Not answered question, you have entered. Okay, what else is there? Marks for correct answer. So for each question number 1, this is a MCQ type of question. There are 2 marks for this question. It has MCQ, it has negative marks, that is -2/3. And you have option to click it. By mistake, you click 10. Hey, I couldn't unclick 10. No, just click what the correct option is. You are fairly good. Then you have mark for review and next. Okay, clear response. This is something like that. I answered, but I want to double check it later on. Okay, during the third phase or something like that, you could always do that. But as I said, so our initial objective is quickly to skim through this, right? No harm, all the colors and all that, you shouldn't be bothered about it. Okay, all of this, none of this should really affect you. Instructions, sir, I didn't read those instructions. Again, they, before getting into this, right? They are already given. You don't have to worry about it. So look at the question paper. Yeah, this is where I can skim through the question paper. Look at the questions here. There is an option to skim through the question paper. Let's skim through the first pass. Okay, there are going to be general aptitude questions, sequence, series, okay, some data interpretation. Okay, powers and all that. I know I have seen this question, right? What is this? Sudoku, some filling column. Yeah, fill something details. Yeah, we can do this. Phasing order, locality. Okay, there is general aptitude. Conduction velocity, fairly easy, right? Okay, Bode plot. Okay, if I think about it, perhaps I can answer. Signals and systems, normal frequency, I can answer this. X-ray beam, I can answer this. Human retina, HAP, I might be able to answer that. Group of people residing new virus, probability, I have read questions like this. The human heart, AC bridge, right? Oh no, this is a bridge with a diode, fine. This is a SPECT imaging, artery, ultrasound. This is a easy, I know how to answer this, right? My screen is in login page. Well, it's in login page, is it? Every time this is opening a new thing. It's visible now. So you can quickly skim through this, 5 to 10 minutes. 10 minutes, no harm, okay? This is a transfer function, low pass, high pass filter, a complex number question I can answer. You can skim through this. Notice it doesn't take a lot of time. We can verify the solution perhaps. A photo content scattering, I know this. Reynolds number, is it? And the moment I looked at the table, time to take travel. Okay, some sort of conservation, I suppose. Signals and systems. MRI, I can answer this. Then, there is a elbow joint question. I can answer. Something from image formation. I didn't do that aspect properly during revision, let's say. So you're going to skim through this, okay? HAP. Notice it doesn't take a lot of time. Diode thing, if you know what it is, perhaps you can answer. Radioactive X-ray question. ECG bandwidth, I can answer this. Strength mass, something from biomaterials, right? The skimming you can do. And then you can try to answer easy questions. You can go to the, once you have entered something, you can either save and next to the next question. Go to the next question. So questions that you have visited, not answered, or here marked like this. Go to the next question. The fourth question I want to revisit. You can mark and review. Some of these are like, these features are just like, typically the data transfer rates are too fast that you can quickly click and see. You're trying to look for a question, you can quickly click and come back to that. So you can do this exercise. Then you can go to biomedical and start answering. Where is the calculator? Yeah, you are not allowed to have a calculator. Notice numerical answer type. You can enter numbers. There aren't any characters here. If you want to enter a negative number, you have to, there is a minus 2 point something. This is where I said I don't know anything. This is a bioinstrumentation question. I'm just, let's say last 5 minutes, last minute, I don't know anything. I'm going to enter 1 and then save on next. Okay. The next numerical type answer question, the Fourier series question. I said digital electronics, but let's say this is a Fourier series question. I'm going to enter 0. This is the last 5 minutes. Let's say enter that, save on next. Okay. So quickly gave you a tour of this. This link is available. In fact, one of the tests you are supposed to give here. Okay. Let me stop. Yeah, this is fine. This is like opening window, outside of a window, outside of a window. So I'll stop using that. Okay, now I also want to do mostly exercises from now. Okay, negative marks. How should you deal with it? I already done some probability calculations in class. Okay, if you randomly guess, on an average, you neither gain or lose marks. If you verify, eliminate, eliminate incorrect answers and guess, you increase your chances of, you're on an average, you're likely to get a positive mark. Okay, so eliminate and verify. If you could eliminate one certain wrong answer, you can randomly guess. Okay, eliminate. You verify the correct answer. Verify. Then there are special cases. Try special cases. Special cases. For any days, there are rules of thumbs and all that. What I'm going to do is, let's look at a question paper. Let's see how many marks we can score based on this. Okay. Then we have rules of thumb. There are many things. I have discussed many of these in classes. Rules of thumb, dimensions, units. If you multiply these two things, I get the these two things. If I multiply it, I get the number in the answer units. That's a reasonable guess. Yeah, screen is not required. Okay. Eliminate, verify, special cases, rules of thumb. Let me actually show you things. If you cannot answer an easy question, you should keep that ego aside. No one question is worth 64 other questions in the paper. What is standing between you and that question and the 64 questions is ego. Easy question, hard question. Who knows? Okay, doesn't matter. That's that's why they give you 64 questions. Okay, 65 questions. Sandana adi padada seiyum. Right? Or adi padada seiyum. You have to move on. Okay. There is nothing to. You have to take it in that spirit and move on. Okay. Frustration and all that, you should keep it aside. One is this fight or flight response. Okay, you'll give a fight. Another thing is like this frustration. This is like there are 64 other opportunities you don't want to miss. Fine. There is frustration because you cannot answer a question, and then there is frustration because you cannot answer an easy question. There are different things, right? Yeah. I just repeated whatever I was saying at the beginning of the class. Okay. So to make it to answer her better, I stated it in Tamil. Okay. But whatever I said of flight or fight response, confidence, overconfidence, underconfidence, that only I kind of said it in Tamil. Okay, now, yeah, I want to do two more hands-on exercise. One is, I said, calculate, enter 0 and 1 for NAT, right? The reason for that is fairly simple. Most of you might already know, right? The answer key has some actually, almost every year, 0 or 1 is a probable answer. Okay, that is there in the answer key, NAT answer key. You don't know how to answer, there is no negative marking, you might as well guess 1. Digital electronic question, guess 0, right? Let me show you some examples. Students have cleared using this strategy. They're supposed to get 24.5 because they got like 1 bonus mark because of the strategy. They cleared it, right? They saved 1 year. So don't underestimate any of these things. Let's take some year, okay? I can show you a couple of years. We have 2 things open. Let me open the 2021 question paper, okay? That's a hard question paper. Let's see how much of the strategies that we are discussing would actually work, okay? Eliminate, verify, rules of thumb. Simple logic. Logic is my strong point, right? Or this NAT guessing, MSQ guessing and all that. directly answer the question. You don't know how to answer the question, but you still get the correct answer. You indirectly answer the question. There are many questions like that. Let's do a quick survey, okay? Let me open up a question paper. Let me open up an answer key. At this stage, let me share my entire screen, which I don't like doing. Okay, 2021 question paper have 2021 answer key. Let's look at NAT questions, okay? Let's see why I was telling you to guess this. Inch 1 to 1. Whether or not you knew that question, you found out the answer to be 1, fine. But there are instances where you don't understand the question or you don't find the answer, right? In case you enter 1, you're getting a mark. That can mean sometimes difference between clearing and not clearing. Okay, that is there. See, other things are very hard to guess. Okay, -6, 4, and all that cannot 1, 2, 3, 4, and all that guesses, and you cannot do. You cannot put inky, pinky, ponky, and all that, right? With 0 or 1, 0 for digital electronics questions, 1 for every other subject. Let's look at 2 mark questions. 2.1 is there. 0.2 -10. Yeah, there aren't any 2 marks like that, but notice if you're lucky, actually sometimes there are like 2, 3 questions with 1 as the answer key. Okay, in this year there is 1 mark. Okay, this is the reason to always don't leave a NAT just like that. Always enter 1 digital electronics question, engineering mathematics, the Fourier series, something like that. You need to use some sort of spider sense or super sense. Okay, and then 0. Then let's look at it. Last exercise we will do is I don't want you to answer, but can you tell me, is there a way to eliminate or verify the question? I'll go one question at a time. We'll do this exercise and we'll wind. Okay. Let's also do that for MCQ questions. MSQ anyways, there isn't. MSQ also actually you can eliminate. That kind of helps. You at least stop at questions where I think elimination is possible. These are all some of the questions you can answer. It's actually, mirror image you can quickly, based on just how the P looks, you can kind of eliminate, right? Some of these options. These are answerable questions. Let's look at some not easily answerable questions. Probability that you cannot really, you can answer this, you cannot eliminate this. Again, you cannot really eliminate. You can answer this, you cannot really eliminate or verify. Here, elimination verification not possible. Here again, based on the distance, you can easily answer this but not eliminate, verify. This is author's opinion. Again, elimination verification is not possible. Actually, you can do something about question 8. You can answer it. Actually, that's fairly easy. We have discussed the answer and all that. But you can actually do something to answer. Their strong point is logic. There is something you can do here. This is an MCQ question. Can anyone actually guess? There is a way to actually at least eliminate one of the options. While I do that, this is 2021. The way to eliminate at least one of the options. One, strength is logic. Look at these 3 options. No football player plays hockey. Some football player plays hockey. All football players play hockey. One of these has to be correct because those 3 statements cover all possible cases. One of those 3 has to be correct. Whether they cover all possible, that's a universal set. All, some, none. The universal set. Every possible case. One of that case should be correct. For that reason, you can eliminate option D. Okay? Fine. This is a slightly tricky example. Let's go further. This is a probability. You can do again answer this question, but notice simply I'm not talking about answering this. I'm talking about eliminating this. If this this turns out to be a negative number, I can eliminate it. It's not a probability, but I think this is positive. Pi by 2 is 1.5 minus 1. This is positive. This is also positive. Okay. So you cannot again eliminate here, but if you know the area, total area, you can roughly at least shaded area, right? Now this is a negative number, I would have quickly eliminated it. Okay, let's move on. Okay, understanding the question itself is hard. Probably you don't understand the question. This is the type of question that I'm looking at the second pass. Let's move on. An MCQ question. Anyone eliminate any option? One of you is saying option D. This for this to be a probability distribution, likelihood, right? Area under any part of the curve has to be positive. The coefficient, rest of the terms are all positive. Pi is positive, e power x is positive, e power minus x is positive. Q cannot be negative. Eliminate option D. So now, at this stage, if you have to randomly guess, my options of getting marks is, or expectation of getting marks is positive. It's not 0, it's positive, right? So once I have done this, I'll do this. Okay. Directional derivative, no, You can calculate it, not really eliminate it. See, this it has to be between true and false, right? One of that has to be correct. That is a logic that I was speaking there. True and false cover the entire set. Typically, there aren't any gray areas. That's why they are giving you options like this. That is why they are giving you options like this: 10 minus 10, minus 6 plus 6. So it's either 6 or 10, right? And it's either positive or negative. If you stare at this a bit, you can actually, it might be possible to actually choose between whether it's 6 or 10. Might be possible. Again, if you again stare at it for some more time, let's say you don't know how to solve it, you don't know any of the transformations, right? Source transformations, not in Thevenin. In that case, I am saying maximum power delivered. This is somewhat of in systems. Let's kind of skip that. See, what is the maximum value of y for any given digital input? Y is y1, y0. Again, I would try to eliminate, not really, certainly eliminate, but they are asking for maximum value. It's not likely to be 0, 0. Not likely. I'm not doing a certain elimination. Not likely to be 0, 0. They're asking for the minimum value. Probably it's this, right? So answer is not likely C. Okay. So bones, even if you know at least one of the bones, one of the cranial bones, right? One of the bones that is not cranial, you can, mandible, coccygeal, sternum. One of that, if you know, you can eliminate that not to be cranial, right? Thyroid stimulating hormone. So this is not thyroid, it's being something else. I can eliminate thyroid here. Some prior knowledge, actually, the veins typically doesn't get affected, right? It's a heart attack, myocardial, right? I can eliminate the brain. Two options. Notice even theory questions I'm kind of like quickly eliminating. I'm not answering based on knowledge, prior knowledge. This is like common sense, super sense, or what is this? General sense. Cardiac, it's not the brain. It's one of the heart. And typically, if you have some general sense, common sense, it's not the veins that clot. RBCs. You could actually do similar eliminations here, okay? Elimination verifications here. Random orientation. I can actually eliminate options C and D. Both hydrophilic, both hydrophobic. I can see, no, they behave differently, right? They behave differently. I can eliminate two options here, C and D. Notice the actually number of eliminations that I am doing. I am quickly increasing my chances of even random guesses, increasing the chances of them correct, right? And those questions are almost everywhere. So just in case I couldn't solve this, my answer here would have been 0, but I already saw that's not the answer, right? Here I would have guessed a 1. Some transfer function, continuous transfer function, bilinear transform, my 122. That is a question, that key that I showed, 1. It would have been correct. As far as if you know what is Curie, right? Curie, Becquerel and all that, you can at least having the units correct. You can get, playing with the units, you can get the answer, right? And if you think a bit deeply, eliminations even in questions like this are possible, okay? This is pi, t is pi by 6, okay? 0 and 1s typically occur at 0, pi to pi. So we are talking about a difference that is neither, right? So in fact, I don't think 1 or 0 is the correct answer there. Yeah, correct answer here happens to be 0.5. You can use actually some common sense about sin x, cos x to eliminate options A and C. Okay, can it be 2? Also, you could technically eliminate. What you're talking about is actually to eliminate 2, you need a little bit more thing. Sin x is a moving curve, so its amplitude can never be more than 1, right? 2 also technically can eliminate. Actually, I got the answer by staring at it. Okay, 3 eliminations I did. I eliminated 1, 0. I eliminated 2. I didn't find the wave speed. So these questions are all over the paper. Elimination is possible. It is possibility of eliminations is more than what you typically presume the cases. I tried to show you examples. Okay, you could go probe this a little more further. Make use of this. Fine. I think we should. Yeah, I spent like one rough work. I spent one whole rough sheet. I'm still able to not answer this question. Might be easy question. I know op amps and all that. Keep all that aside. Skip it. Okay. For example, I'm saying. Then you look at a BJT question. You don't have to, come back to this question at all if you don't know that. Save that time. Okay. So these are. I wanted to give you actual examples on not just say eliminate, verify, rules of thumb. Take one entire paper, show you the number of ways you can actually, uh, eliminations are possible in ways or typically not known or unconventional, right? Fine. Let's stop this, okay? Let's kind of go and conclude. Really, my friend. Yeah. Hey, this is, see, eliminate at least one certain option. These things are all, that is the way to deal with negative marks. And today I show you lots of examples. Okay, some of them may not be straightforward, obvious to you. Perhaps if you watch the recording again and again, sometimes you might recognize why I say some of the options could be eliminated, right? The way I mentioned some of the examples, but they are all over the paper. That's the thing. Okay, so eliminate and then guess, and then feel free to guess. Okay, this is with respect to MCQs where there are negative marking. Even there, once you have done that, feel free to guess. Okay, so this is how you deal with negative marks. Let me quickly look at my agenda. Let's me look at any of your questions. Are there any outstanding details that we need to discuss? Pre-exam checklist, silly mistakes, forgetting unit, exam time management, rough sheet and max time, doubling times, boosting scores. So whatever I discussed here is with respect to boosting scores. Yeah, on final detail, you can double your time. I already mentioned this here. All India, single digit is roughly 50 marks. You are supposed to do 35 questions, right? You can double your time. Double your roughly mark. There are 2-mark questions. There are 35 of them. They say this is roughly 4 times hard, okay? 4 times harder compared to a 1-mark question. That means you have 55 to 4 plus 30. Quickly, what is this number? 5 into 4 plus 30. This is approximately 170 marks, let's say. 170. Okay. You have 180 minutes. Total time that you have here is 180 minutes. You roughly get 1 minute per 1-mark questions, 4 minutes per 2-mark questions. You totally have 180 minutes. You roughly get 1 minute per 1-mark question, so 30 minutes. 4 minutes per 2-mark questions. That is, notice, 35 into 4, roughly 140 plus 130. You roughly got the, if you look at the skimming, you got the total 180 minutes, right? The actual time that you have here is a lot more than that. You are not trying to score 100. If you are careful on choosing your questions, right? Roughly 20 questions, 50 questions. Let's say this is 22 marks, 15 1 marks. Okay, let's do a calculation for that. I'm doing a single digit rank calculation, approximate single digit rank calculation. What you have here is 15 1 mark is all you need to get correct. Okay, and then 22 marks is what all you need to get correct. Again, if this is 4 times harder, what you have here is total would be 15 plus 20 into 4. That is 80 plus 15. 80 plus 15, approximately 100, let's say 95. Okay. So per 1-mark question, you get approximately 2 minutes. 2-mark question, approximately you get 7 minutes. Almost this is double the incorrect estimate of time required. Be aware of that. Notice, if you spend 2 minutes in the correct 15 1-mark questions, that will be 30 minutes. If you spend 7 minutes per question in the correct 22-mark questions, okay, that will be 140 minutes. Together, that's 170 minutes. So the total 180 minutes that you have, right, considering the initial 5 minutes skimming, the last 5 minute answering and all that, guessing and all that, here this costs you 170 minutes. This estimate tells you this is 170 minutes. But you have doubled your time here, time per question. Double your time per question. Double your time per question. You're trying to get 100, you are trying to score 50. This is fairly important, okay? And that also is important when you are scheduling this. Okay, you are roughly just trying to get 20 questions here, 15 questions here. Okay, 1 mark, 2 mark, the difference, that try to answer. Roughly, it's going to be in this ratio. Okay, and with that, you can get single digit rank. Be sensible, okay? 7 minutes is a sufficient time to do even moderate, many hard gate questions. If you know that question, you can actually sit and answer that. But if it's dragging on and on and on, be sensible to skip it. Easy questions also, be sensible to skip. Okay, so that's all from my side. Okay, let me just, that's all from my side.